I feel it. I'm feeling it. Are we live? Somebody give me a thumbs up if we're live on YouTube. Because we're pumped, man. I'm so excited to share this. If anybody can hear me, this is something that's been in the works for literally months, probably 6 to 8 months. By the way, man, what's shaking? This is Matty Crypto. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have something really, really special because myself and 2 or 3 other people have been working on an NFT project called Lethayus, where we tell the history of crypto through the lens of a Hex and Pulse vibe, Richard Hart products vibe. And we start from Satoshi, we work all the way up to Richard Hart, current day, and we're going to do this in the future too. So we wanted to introduce our Genesis project, our first NFT called the Hex King. It's been in the works for 6 to 8 months, but nobody's really seen the entire NFT, the whole thing. We've given sneak peeks of maybe a knee or the throne or just something really small. But tonight is a night where we're going to wait and do this exclusively on Mintra and show this live only when Pulsechain went live. And then a few weeks later, Mintra goes live. But we were working on it so long and we're so excited. We want to show this first. We want to get it out to the public and let you see the Hex King, build some hype. And then once Mintra goes live on Pulsechain, we're going to launch the Hex King exclusively on Mintra. So as we get some people in the chat, welcome you guys. If y'all can, share this on Twitter. Let's get some eyeballs on this because not only are we showing the Hex King, we're also going to give away 2,000 Hex. I was going to give away 1,000 on behalf of Lethayus, and one of my best buddies in the chat, Johnny Rocket, was humble enough to also donate 1,000 Hex. So 2 people are going to get 1,000 Hex tonight live on stream. So as we wait for some people to come on board into the chat, I wanted to share something. So how incredible is this? So Richard Hart has been on Twitter since 2017. Never had a check mark. Guy's got 200,000 followers and growing by, I don't know, 1,000 or so every few days. Couldn't get verified. And what that does, it allows a lot of people to spam people and scam them and pretend they're Richard Hart because it doesn't, the real Richard Hart doesn't have that verified blue check mark. Elon Musk comes along, buys Twitter for $44 billion, and less than 24 hours later, this guy has got a check mark. So kudos to Richard Hart, kudos to Elon Musk and bringing some free speech and getting some people that should be checkmarked back on this. Also, let me close this out and also take a little peeky peek at this. Because I was loving the Hex price today. I can't add to stream. I don't know why. Give me a second. I'm going to share again. Over on nomics.com, which is probably the best place you can go to actually find true market cap. Boom. So look at this. Today, we're pumping. I mean, crypto in general is kind of going up a little bit as far as Bitcoin, Ethereum. But the last day or two, it's been a sea of red. But look at this. Up 4 spots to number 10 at almost 14.5 cents, 9% as we speak. And closing in on, what, 20 billion market cap. So with the approach of Pulsechain coming, Richard Hart was saying, again, he reiterated this twice now, that Pulsechain mainnet is probably going to be mid-May. So right on cue, we're getting to 15 cents. I would love to see a 20-cent Hex price before we go mainnet. That would be very, very fantastic. Let me get rid of that. So hopefully, who's in the chat? Let's see. Johnny, I mentioned you. Sup, everybody. That's a good cat too, man. I met Sup through Johnny Rocket. And if you guys are familiar with Telegram, please, I'm going to put links in the description of this video as far as our Telegram group. More on that later on in this stream. I want to invite some people right now. Go to that because it's really, really important that we go over 100 people in our Telegram chat during this stream because we got something to share with you guys about that before we leave. Trevor Elliott, how you doing, brother? Brian, got some familiar faces. Scott McLaren. All right, welcome you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I want to bring on the two founding members of Lethayus. I work with these guys for months and months. It feels like almost a year. It probably is right now. We wanted to create something really exclusive to the NFT world. I mentioned about Hex and Pulsechain and getting Richard Hart involved in something like this. I know that guy is not a big fan of NFTs, and I was in Vegas and I talked to him personally about this project, and he reiterated that he's not a fan of NFTs. And I understand where he's coming from. He looks at NFTs taking up oxygen in the room and taking money from people buying NFTs that they should be buying crypto, buying Hex and Pulse X. It's a much better store of value and much better play with your money. But my pitch to him about this specific NFT and Lethayus and what we're trying to do with Hex and Pulse ecosystem is, if we can introduce people in the NFT world, we grab them that love NFTs and we get them with Lethayus. They then learn about Hex and Pulse naturally, not generically, but organically. They learn about our ecosystem and Richard Hart products because of Lethayus. So if we can use the onboard processor for NFTs to grab them in the NFT world and pump them over to Pulse and Hex, that's a win. That's how we can use NFTs for good. So two buddies of mine, Duke Silver and the Silent Knight. Silent Knight is the artist that we're going to reveal the Hex King to you guys, but I want to invite them into the stream right now. This is Duke. Hey, brother. Silent Knight. Can you hear me, Silent Knight?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the first time that the public has seen Duke Silver or the Silent Knight. So I wanted to, honestly, I want to say something before this gets too long, because a lot of people come here for the reveal of the Hex King or the Hex giveaway. I promise this stream will not go long. You're not going to see an hour-long stream here. We just wanted to introduce the founding members of Lethayus, and also one of our social media people is been a huge help to us. SJ Wow, you guys know her in the Hex community. She's going to come on here in a second and basically tell like a 3-minute script of what we got going on with Lethayus. And we chose her because, one, she's a big part of our team, and also she's the voice of Survive. So she's going to jump in here in a second and tell you guys about this story. But before we do, I wanted to ask Duke and Silent Knight to kind of chime in as far as who they are and a little bit more about this project and how this got started. So Duke, can you carry that, brother?
No, absolutely. No, thanks for doing this. So let's see. I'm going to try to go back. I'm not going to give everything away, but like Maddie said, about a year ago. So I've known Maddie for 20 plus years. We used to play some music together in a band back in the day. And so it's got a lot of fun memories, but Maddie got into some crypto stuff over the last few years. Obviously you guys know that. He's been trying to get me into some crypto stuff for years, and I've been saying, no, I'm good. I kind of got burned on some things, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And so NFTs kind of roll around, and he's like, dude, this is like right up your alley. And so he knew I was a graphic artist, web design, and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. So we started kind of working on some things and putting some ideas together. And then it just dawned on me. It's like, we could do something kind of cool together, but I know this other dude that is an amazing artist, has done a bunch of comic book work. He's got his own comic book. I was like, I think we should ask him to see if he wants to hop in on this. And so I got a hold of my friend, the Silent Knight, and he was all about it. So he kind of like me, didn't know a whole lot of crypto. I know a little bit more than he did, and kind of been in it somewhat, but he had no clue about crypto or NFTs, but obviously an amazing artist and was willing to hop in and wanted to learn more. And so we started this thing. And, at first we thought, NFTs, this is crazy. People are just throwing out these random JPEGs and people are just throwing money at it. And we're just like, well, maybe we could throw out some JPEGs that would be cooler than others. And maybe some people might throw some money our way too. And then, our whole idea about NFTs was just completely off. And so we started working with a consultant that's an NFT just guru. And he really helped us to understand just how awesome and cool that these NFTs were. They're more than just JPEGs or images. A lot of people are doing that. They're taking stuff and copying stuff, but we want to do something original. And so once we kind of got our heads around this, we started to realize that, this is more about community. This is about a movement, and this is about art. And so we were like, so I kind of like to relate it to a Kickstarter on steroids, where, you know, whoever buys in actually gets to invest on the project, make some money off of it as well. And then you're a part of the club as well. And so, so once we started to kind of get that idea down, it became kind of easy for us to hone in on what we wanted to do. And that's where we came up with Lethayus. It's a name that Maddie came up with a few years ago. And so we created this idea of basically just telling the story of crypto. Like Maddie said, it's on our website, of crypto in a medieval kind of Game of Thrones settings. And so I got to work on creating the storyline. I'm pretty good with metaphors and analogies, so started putting together all the bits and pieces, wrote this really deep, intriguing story framework. I brought it to the guys. They loved it. We started tweaking it some more. And so we've got, obviously, we wanted to do this in the realm of Hex, because the community around Hex has just been fantastic. And it's something that, you know, me and the Knight weren't even really aware of until we hopped into this thing. And so we wanted to really come into this story through Richard Hart as the Hex King. And so that was our first idea and first goal, is to basically draw Richard as this iconic superhero comic book icon. And so Silent Night got to work on it. We started honing it and refining it, and we got something beautiful to show you guys. So yeah, that's kind of the story, a little bit of backstory. I don't know if the Knight wants to chime in a little bit.
Yeah, I can say a few words. There's not much more I can add to that. I mean, you've covered most of it. As you were saying, you know, I have a background in doing comic book art, freelance illustration, a little bit of abstract fine art, that kind of thing. And when they approached me about the project, I was super excited about it. I love the vision for it. I love the idea of making or producing NFTs that are handmade, that are well done, that are really works of art rather than just JPEGs. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, is to create something with enormous value. And so my job is, I take the vision that Duke and Maddie and myself kind of get together on, and then I try to make that a visual reality. In other words, I put out what we're putting down in words. And so what we're trying to create is an entire world that's multi-layered, very deep, and expansive, and something that is very intriguing and you want to get involved in. So that's kind of what we're about, and I'm really excited to be part of this project.
And I've mentioned this to other people too, that NFTs weren't something that I looked at and was like, oh man, that's beautiful. That is like real art. There's so many that are just pixelated, or an ape, or just an animal or something. And you know, if that's what you like, that's great. But it turned me off because it didn't seem like it was rare or well done or any kind of art. So when the Silent Night showed us what he could do, and this guy's been, you know, a really established, respected comic book artist. Has got really great stuff, which you guys are going to see here. He's dropping stuff on his TikTok. I'll put that in the link in the description too. Just recently on our Twitter, he posted, I think it was a TikTok of a helmet, a medieval helmet, and also this incredible sword. Probably is going to be the Hex King's sword. We want to get some feedback, and that's another good thing we need to mention, is this entire project is community driven. We want this to be as limited as possible as far as the NFTs. For instance, the Hex King is only going to be 369, one of 369. And those 369 people will look at the community in general and help us decide on what direction this project goes. Not only the comic book series, but the art, the characters, the villains. Where is this going to go? We want you to have input directly into this. So the people who are the ones who buy the 369 of the Hex King, you will have a private Telegram group with us, and you'll have our ear. You guys will listen to the community as a whole, get back to us, and we'll kind of hone that in to the 369. You guys will have the final say and the voice of where this goes. It's really important for us to have the community decide a lot of the aspects of this. But I said that to say how impressed myself and Duke was with the quality of hand-drawn NFTs, like real legitimate art. And I'm just really, I think we're really lucky to have the Silent Night doing these kind of things, because this is what NFTs should be, in my opinion. Real artists making real art, not just a bunch of clip stuff that anybody can do online and say it's rare and it goes up thousands of dollars. So I'm really pumped to share this with you guys. But yeah, right now, unless you guys got something else to add to that, I would love to get in, SJ.
Yeah, let me say something real quick to that. So if you've been to our website, you can see more details about this, and we can obviously go over the roadmap in more detail after, because we're going to do some Q&A after we reveal the Hex King. But yeah, there's obviously more to just the images that we're putting out, or even the story. Like Maddie said, there's a community that's going to be behind this, and we've been very, very intentional about thinking about that beforehand, so that as this project scales, we've got all this kind of ready to go. And so, a lot of NFT projects, they kind of throw stuff out there and then it just takes off, and then they kind of go back and try to fill in the storyline or different things. But we're doing it the reverse way. Like, we're really wanting to think this through as far as the storyline goes, and also the involvement that the community can have in this. And so you'll probably hear the word demigods at some point, but that's just what we're talking about as far as the people who actually buy in and get on board. We're kind of known as the gods if you've seen the website, but the demigods, along with the gods, we're all going to work together to kind of drive this project. We've got the story framework, but we're going to allow the demigods to speak into that. Even some of the different art that we've done, we've got different pieces that we haven't done, and so we're going to allow them to speak into that. What should we do? What would you like to see? So there's going to be a lot of involvement in this project. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're on our Telegram chat, you can already see some of that. There's a little bit of that going on already, but yeah, that's all I wanted to add to that.
And also, people who are familiar with us know that, at first we wanted to launch this on OpenSea because it was finished months and months ago. But if we launch on OpenSea, one, the gas fees are ridiculous on Ethereum. Two, we're going to launch into this massive sea of bunch of other NFTs. And we don't take advantage of the community that Hex and Pulse and Richard Hart kind of created with the launch of Pulsechain. So we talked about this internally a lot, probably for weeks. And we reached out to the guys at Mintra. It's going to be the biggest marketplace as far as NFT marketplaces on Pulsechain when it goes live. You guys check out mintra.io. We decided to go exclusively with Pulsechain and then launch the Hex King exclusively on Mintra for a reason. And we're really happy about that, because now instead of having two chains with the Hex King and other NFTs, it's only going to be one chain, Pulsechain. Stay committed to this community and what we've created. And also the fees will be almost nothing, and it'll be much more limited to have it on one chain. So we are Pulse and Hex people, really appreciate what Richard Hart has created and want to stay true to that.
So Maddie, do you want to go ahead and show them this now, or do you want to let SJ read some of the story more about Lethayus?
I think I'd love to get SJ on, read the story, and I promise this is like 3 minutes long, and then as soon as she's finished, we will launch or unveil the Hex King to you guys. So just a little bit more suspense here. I'm going to bring on SJ. She helped us so much with social media. She is just an absolute gem. You guys know her from the reading of Survive, which is Richard Hart's kind of self-help book. It's beautiful. And it was just out there in the ethos, just kind of this jumbled up Survive in print. And she took it and she made it into an audio book format. So you guys check that out. Hopefully I can do a link in the description for not only SJ's channel on YouTube, but also the Survive. So she's been an enormous help for us. I'm going to get her into the stream too. Hey, SJ.
There she is.
So as I said, let me get you. I think I got you muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get you.
There she is.
Oh. Welcome. So I think people may think this is going to go on forever, but it really is just a quick little synopsis of some ideas we had, and we can't think of someone that would be more eloquent to say these words than you. So take it away,
Maddie. She's still muted.
How about now, West? Let me try again.
How about now?
Yeah, there we go.
You want me to set this up real quick, and then you can take it?
Sure. Yeah.
So basically, the framework of the story is, like I said before, very deep and intriguing, and we've got a lot of details. But another part of the project is as you buy in, you're going to start to learn more of the details of the story. But we wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of not only Richard Hart as the Hex King and the art that we've done, but we also want to give you a sneak peek of the story behind it. And so, like Maddie said, SJ's perfect for this. She's already been a part of this project with us, and we're happy to have her read this 3-minute kind of synopsis, almost like a trailer for the world of Lethayus. So you can take it away whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. Let us begin. Lethayus is a world of mystery, empires, kingdoms, wizards, and magic. There are two realms in this, the seventh age of Lethayus. The first is Synex. It's a realm which has been inhabited for centuries. The second realm, known as DeFi, has only just recently been discovered. Long ago, a great shadow covered the world and its people, trapping them in their own thoughts and ideas. Tribalism and war wreaked havoc over the land for centuries. But a glimmer of light began to shine. This light gave birth to wise men who arose from within the realm of Synex, and a great magic was discovered. This magic led to a long and lasting peace, and all was well for a few decades of decadence. But evil once again arose, this time in the form of greed, an old but familiar master. Again, the people began to suffer under oppressive rulers who stole the wealth of their passions and desires. A new form of tribalism takes hold in the realm, leading to wars and rumors of wars, as rulers manipulate and extort their way to more wealth and power. Suddenly, a prophecy that has been lost for centuries is discovered, hidden inside a black enigma stone that fell from the sky long ago. The prophecy reads, "When the fire that once burned hot becomes but a flicker, the phoenix shall give birth as she falls to her death from the cage she once built. The scorn of man shall give way to new hope." Soon a mysterious oracle appears and begins to travel the realm, proclaiming the good news to the oppressed people whose passion and will have all but been destroyed. Finally, a break in the ranks, and an evil spell is overcome, if only for one man. An unlikely wizard named Satoshi is led by the oracle on an adventure into a forbidden realm no one ever dared go for centuries. Deep in a mountain range, a new magic is discovered that frees many from the oppression of the corrupt and the greedy. But evil is not so easily defeated, and greed remains a potential master of all. At the peak of hope for the world, the great wizard Satoshi disappears, leaving behind nothing but his scrolls, many of which were stolen by corrupt wizards who seek only their own gain. A battle is waged, the scrolls recovered and given freely to anyone who accepts the oracle's challenge, which is this: weave an incorruptible spell and open the gate that ends greed once and for all and brings lasting peace and prosperity to the realms and the world of Lethayus. The oracle has her eyes fixed on one unlikely pupil who many have defamed and decried as just another corrupt wolf in sheep's clothing, seeking his own gain. But who was right? The scoffers and the naysayers? Or the oracle? Even the oracle isn't sure, but she knows there's something very different about this brilliant wizard who calls himself the Hex King. Word of his wisdom and power have spread throughout the great realms, with the knights of of Hex at the forefront, establishing his kingdom and reign. Could he be the one true wizard? Or will greed and misplaced hope rue the day once again? How will the story unfold? Become a demigod, and together we shall rule this world called Lethayus.
Dun dun dun.
Yes.
Dun, dun,
I'm so glad you're here for that, SJ. So it sounds so much better coming from you than it would be from 12 of us
Absolutely.
knuckleheads. So
Absolutely.
it makes me hype myself, because I sit here and I listened to that the first time that Duke showed that little snippet to us. Me and the Silent Night were like, man, this sounds so great. We've been a part of this for 6, 8, 12 months, and it still makes us hype, just because this NFT project has a story. It's got depth. It's got characters. It's got this comic book vibe. So it's got so many things that intrinsically are good for NFTs and makes it valuable and rare and fun. And hopefully it encourages other artists out there to do something similar, not just pump out, random NFTs just to make money, but actually tell a story and to bring some value to NFTs. And like we're doing it. It's nice to kind of showcase Pulse and Pulse X and this Pulse chain as we do this NFT. So if you guys don't have anything else to add, I would love to get a drum roll and show
I was
this.
just going to say, if you're a nerd, you're going to love this. Because we were actually talking to Crypto Kool-Aid a little bit about some of this stuff, and he was all about the nerdiness of it, the fantasy genre. So yeah, so there's a lot of that in here. So a lot of fun. Thanks, SJ. That was great.
Yeah,
Sure thing.
There's a comment there, SJ, in the chat. Trevor Elliott says, "Can I hire her to come read stories to my kids?"
Love it.
I am going to. I mean, this is the moment, man. I don't know how I can be more excited for this, because we've seen this as a group of us for a long, long time. We're so eager to do this, and we were going to wait for Pulsechain, but we're like, man, what if this is another couple of weeks or even the end of May? Who knows? We just couldn't wait any longer just to show this and build some hype and some press around what we're doing. So we've given little sneak peeks. You can see a knee or a part of the throne or just something on the Hex King. We've never shown this public.
Remember the documentary trailer or teaser that they put out? They actually showed the Hex King on the wall. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but they kind of let the cat out of the bag even before we did.
It did, and it may kind of push us to do this, because with the documentary, the Hex, the highest stakes documentary, they told people they were going to do this mural, this art mural in the documentary, and we reached out to them. They were looking for art. I think they chose 15 or 20 people, and we submitted the Hex King. They agreed they'd like to do it. They were going to use it. We signed the documents and stuff, giving them permission to do that. And then they did a little sneak peek of the mural on Twitter. So as it scrolls around, you'll see the Hex King on there. So we were like, man, we need to get this out there. We need to release this right now, so someone else can see this preemptively strike us. So I'll show that. If you guys haven't seen that, we'll show the Hex King, and then I'll show the snippet they did on Twitter. So maybe you guys ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right,
let's do it.
Slowly remove us and go big screen here.
Up. Oh.
They can hear you, Johnny.
Oh, they can? Okay, good. I wasn't sure. So I
just wanted to kind of let it percolate there. I wanted to get us out of the way and let people kind of get a good look at the Hex King and just kind of sit there for a second. Are you able to do any zooms on that?
Absolutely. And we could let the Knight talk about.
That's a great idea. Jump in there, Talent Knight. Obviously, he's the brains of this, the actual artist that we got the luxury of watching him do this, by hand and get these iterations from just the first pen stroke. So it's so awesome actually seeing this and showing it off. But Silent Knight, if you can kind of go over, I guess you're the brainchild of this thing. So if you can tell us like what you were thinking when you did this and go for it.
Yeah. Bro. So Maddie and Duke were really helpful with me for me on this, just because of their background knowledge of Hex and Richard Hart, and I had to do a little bit of research myself. And so what we wanted to do was take the kind of the essence of who Richard Hart is and communicate that in a superhero style. And so you'll see a lot of references to who he is, everything from the Rolexes, the Louis Vuitton shirt, the brown shirt there is the Louis Vuitton design, to his infamous chair that he sits on in his live streams, to the candelabra, and finally to all the skulls on the bottom, just really communicating how he's defeated all the other cryptocurrencies. And so we wanted to really communicate. Here's someone I saw in the comments, someone put his famous quote, "Bring your heroes here to die." And that's exactly what we're trying to communicate with him. Someone that's humble, but at the same time, a conquering king. And so, yeah, that was the design that went into it. We wanted it. We didn't want it to be like real cheesy and corny. We want it to be serious but at the same time have that comic book flair to it. And so I think we captured kind of his Richard Hart's personality with this character. So
you did. You captured it well.
And if you notice the boots too, we talked about this. The first, the boots. It's really difficult because he's kind of obviously this comic book, larger than life superhero kind of vibe. And for those of you familiar with Richard Hart and some of his fashion, he had these white Prada boots with the huge little backpacks on them. And we talked to the Silent Knight about that. How do you incorporate something, just some of Richard Hart's just stuff he does? It's really funny. And the guy is he's so larger than life, and he comes across as this bombastic, kind of narcissistic guy. But that's only if you watch him just for the first few minutes or your first impression of him. He really cares about the community, and he's funny. He's got a great sense of humor. He's super smart. And the fact that he wears Beanie Baby shirts or, crazy name brand stuff, goofy hats, big airplanes in the background, crystals, Prada boots. The white Prada boots didn't fit very well in this scheme, so the Silent Knight made them black. Obviously, we got the Rolex is spinning, the jewelry, the Hex / Pulsechain emblem on his chest.
There's
obviously he's been to the gym because he's freaking buff.
I was just going to say that there's little details in there, like for example on the boots, that those pockets are actually supposed to be on the outside, but because of the way his feet were, I just put them on the inside. It wasn't that big of a deal to change that. So, but we wanted to emphasize that those big gaudy pockets on his boots. And it was kind of a challenge to draw his likeness. And this is no offense to him, not a shot at him, but he's a little bit overweight. And so it was difficult to draw him like muscular, but to still keep the look of who he is. Cause your face does really change if you lose a lot of weight. So I was trying to like capture who he was in that face. And then his candelabra, we haven't 100% decided exactly how we're going to do this, but we're going to turn it into like basically his weapon. And so we've talked about combining that into a sword or making it magical or making it almost like a spear or something. So be on the lookout for that. I don't want to give too much information or too many details away, but we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And the other detail too, if you notice, the throne goes up past the top of the picture, and that was on purpose, just because as Maddie pointed out, whenever you see him on his live stream, you never see the top of the chair, and so we wanted to capture that little detail in the picture as well.
If you just kind of scroll in, just go up, just keeps
Just
on
goes
going.
and goes. I love it, man. And I mean, obviously, I'm biased to this stuff, but I look at a lot of NFTs, and I just wonder why people get so excited over some clip art or pixelated stuff. I mean, it's fun and it's silly, but I would love for artists like the Silent Knight and others, like hundreds and thousands of these guys, to actually put out quality stuff like this, where it's immortalized on the blockchain, it's limited. And if it can represent something bigger, like this obviously has a pulse chain vibe, and it can introduce people to something that really does help their life. I just think it's such a huge win for this community and Richard Hart and all the things that he's created. What we're going to do with this, we talked about this as far as our Telegram group, Lethayus Telegram. If you go to Telegram, it's just at Lethayus, I think. If you just do a search for Lethayus, and we can put it here in the description of the video, I'll make sure it's there. We're almost at 100 people, and we haven't marketed this at all because we didn't want any bots. We didn't want people to flood this thing. And it's difficult to show off a project like this without anybody seeing the artwork. Just say, hey, come to this, or follow us on YouTube, or jump on our Telegram. It's hard to do that if you can't see the actual art and understand who we are, where we're coming from, and the quality that the Silent Knight creates. So now that you've seen the Hex King, I want to invite everybody to go over there. Once we get to 100 people in the Telegram group, we may already have it now.
We're at 89.
89. All right, the next 11 people
So
that get
close.
into our Telegram group, when we hit 100, we're going to do something special for you guys. We wanted to, if you want to show them, Duke,
Yeah.
we're going to give one person out of the Telegram group, the first 100 people, we're going to give them a signed from the Silent Knight. He's going to sign the Hex King and send it to you, a physical copy of this. It's not going to be the color. It's not going to be the color version. It's going to be black and white. And I just think it's so cool that we're actually giving away something that's tangible, that you can feel. And that's something we'd love to do with a comic book series. Eventually create a real standalone, in your hand, physical comic book. So one person in the Telegram group, you get a 1 in 100 chance of getting this physical art. It's going to be actual literal on paper or canvas. I'm not sure how we can do this. We'll come up with it soon. But Silent Knight is going to hand sign this black and white Hex King. It's going to be a 1 of 1, and I will personally send this to you in the mail. So jump over to Telegram and jump in there. But what do you think, SJ? You haven't seen the black and white.
I hadn't seen the black and white. That's really sick looking. I like that a lot. It's very moody.
It is. It's kind of eerie,
Yeah.
man. I really hope Richard Hart can see this. I was in Vegas and I showed him, but it was difficult for him to see this. But I hope he sees this and appreciates it and sees the hard work that Silent Knight puts in this. And if you got to have NFTs, why not have NFTs like this? And I hope this becomes kind of the standard for NFTs, and hopefully we become something that people in the Pulse community kind of uses as a go-to.
Yeah, I'd like to say too, Matt, like we're just getting started. Like, again, if you go and look at our website, like we've got a few projects that we've already slated to do on there, but this story is, I mean, it's the story of crypto. And so we've got the Knights of Hex is going to be another project that's coming, you know, and that's going to be a generative art piece, kind of like the Bored Apes, where you're going to have 5,555 different versions of those knights. And we can talk more about that later of how we're going to do that. But we've got page 1, volume 1 that's coming. So that's going to be basically the first page out of the first volume. You know, the demigods are going to help us pick that. But there's a bunch of other things too. Like the characters in the story we've got quite a few already. You've seen Chad working on, or I'm sorry, you've seen you know him working on the swords. You've seen him working on the helmet. So the Silent Knight's going to be doing a bunch of other drops like that. It's just going to kind of give you more of a peek into what we're doing here. So yeah, it's not just one or two or three projects. Like we've got quite a few that are going to be dropping. So super exciting stuff. Matt, you going to show them the highest of stakes little?
Yeah, this is basically an exclusive sneak peek they did with the highest of stakes. And you can tell on the back there. Let me let this roll here a little bit.
You gotta kind of get the timing right. The camera moves, and then this tweet is going to come up on that vessel board. Look at that sound. Isn't that amazing?
Is this royal or what? It's absolutely insane. And there are more secrets that I'm going to reveal here in just a moment. But the first thing I want to do is I want to introduce to you the team whose vision it is that we brought to life here. Meet the artistic directors. All the way in from El Salvador.
There it is. I wish it was longer.
This big, it takes a really incredible imagination to bring it to life. And so we don't just have the Vespa board here.
There he is.
There it is. So we were really scared that people would see this and go, "Oh, that must be the Hex King," or put two and two together, because we've given little snippets of the knee and the hand and the watches and stuff. So we can get ahead of this. Obviously support the guys over at the highest of stakes, because that documentary is going to be ridiculous. I'm so impressed with the quality and the effort they're doing with this thing. I don't know when it's going to go live, probably the end of this year, but it's going to be a marketing genius. But to have us on the wall like that is pretty humbling. I love it.
Hey, Silent, what did you think when you saw this piece, your artwork there on the wall?
Man, I honestly, I felt a bit of redemption, because as we talked about with the NFTs, sometimes like you just wonder why people invest so much money in them. And so for them to have picked ours to put it on the wall beside so many other amazing pieces of art, like I was really honored and excited to see it up there for sure.
Nice. In closing, is there anything else you guys wanted to add before we do the Hex giveaway?
No, the only thing I would say is just to continue to keep your eyes open for updates, and I'll be posting things on our Telegram as far as sketches and drawings and little quick time videos and those kind of things. So we've got a lot more coming your way for sure.
Awesome. SJ, how about you as far as Survive and stuff? That's a completed thing now. Right? The entire audiobook is available for people to do.
Well, yes. I said no because I have a lot of work ahead of me for the next rendition. So Survive is available on YouTube currently. It is, to me, it's rough audio because it wasn't done professionally in a studio. There's, this is my first run through doing something of that magnitude. And what's happening now is I'm going back to the beginning of Survive. I'm going to edit the whole thing so that it's actually ready for publishing and then re-record it in audio so that it's ready for like Spotify and Audible.
Okay, I was going to ask that. Is it on any other like Amazon or Spotify or nothing? It's just exclusively right now on YouTube, basically, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, okay. Because it's not like production quality yet. So okay. I don't think we'd want to put it even up on Spotify until this next edition is done.
Now, when you say next edition, is he going to add anything else to it, or is it finished as it is?
I believe that nothing will be added. If anything, some things may be taken out or like condensed a little bit, consolidated. There are some like parts that repeat a little bit, and there are definitely, well, I haven't, obviously, like I'll have to go back through Survive, but I'm also working on his second book, Fix the World. And there are things in that I don't know if that was done before or after Survive. I'm guessing before, because there's a lot of Bitcoin talk in it, like how when he once upon a time he was a Bitcoin maxi. So there's things that I'm sure his worldview has changed, and it doesn't necessarily apply anymore. So yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm pumped. So thank you guys for being here. Honestly, this is, I love showing this. We've been so hyped and ready to do this. I'm glad it's actually out there and people can share this video. We can talk about the Hex King openly, and now we can put it on social media, and it's going to be kind of a build up to Pulsechain. So, if Richard Hart he's been hinting the last couple of days now, week or so, twice that I know of, that mid-May is the target. And he's never given that quite of a detailed answer. It's always a few weeks or maybe a month or so. For him to say, or the devs to say probably mid-May, and to put that specific date on it, I think it's ready right now, and they're just kind of tweaking things and looking through it. So now's the time to get excited for Pulsechain and Richard Hart products. So thank you guys, Duke, Silent Night, SJ. I want to give away 2,000 Hex. It was going to be 1,000. We changed it because, like I said, Johnny Rocket, one of the longtime friends of mine, said, "Hey, Maddie, I want to do 1,000 more Hex." So right now it's what, like $150 for 1,000 Hex. So let's get 2 people. I've been going through the chat here and just looking around and seeing some new faces, some old faces, but let's see. Chris, I want to give you 1,000 Hex, my friend, and I'll do it tonight. And if you guys, when you receive the Hex tonight, if you don't mind, just posting it on Twitter that we were true to our word. You're going to get 1,000 Hex, brother. And also Hex Ran Reggie. I've never seen you here before, so thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. You're going to get 1,000 Hex too. Hopefully you guys will 555 that, stake it for 15 years. You get the double whammy when Pulsechain goes live. And I'm done, man. If you guys want to add anything, we're right at about 43 minutes. I was thinking this would be 20, but as usual, we go over. But you want to add something, Duke?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and make the Hex King live on our website. So if you guys want to go over there and you can actually take a minute to look at it in more detail, I'm going to push the publish button right now.
Nice. Okay. So it's Lethayus.com. If you guys want to go there, it's LETHAYUS.com. And give us feedback, man. You reach out to us on Twitter. We're at Lethayus on Twitter. Jump into a Telegram group. Have a shot at getting that black and white. And honestly, we appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and share and subscribe. Get this out to as many people as you can. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate it.
See ya.